Have you ever been so busy chasing your dreams that you forgot to call the people who helped you dream in the first place? Today, I want to tell you a story. It's about a son who thought there would always be more time, until one phone call changed his life forever. Because this story might remind you of someone you should call today. There was once a man named Michael Turner. Michael was 38 years old and lived in Chicago. On paper, he had everything most people dream of. He had a high-paying job as a corporate lawyer, a beautiful apartment in the middle of the city, an expensive car, and a reputation that earned him respect wherever he went. People looked at his life and thought, he's successful, he's made it. But no one knew what happened after he came home every night. He would unlock the apartment door, place his briefcase on the table, loosen his tie, and sit alone in complete silence. No family waiting, no children laughing, no one asking how his day had been. Just another quiet evening. What Michael didn't realize was that while he was building a successful career, he was slowly losing something much more valuable. Michael grew up in a small town called Maple Street. His mother had passed away many years earlier, leaving his father, William Turner, to live alone in the old family house. William wasn't a wealthy man. He had worked as a carpenter almost his entire life. His hands were rough from years of hard work, but his heart was one of the kindest anyone had ever known. Every Sunday evening, William called his son. Sometimes Michael answered. Most of the time, he didn't. Whenever he saw his father's name on the phone, he would sigh. "I'll call him later. I'm in a meeting. I'm too tired today. Maybe next week." Those words became a habit. And as we all know, habits slowly become our lives. Now here's something Michael never knew. Every time his father couldn't reach him, William would leave a voicemail. Nothing dramatic, nothing demanding, just simple words. "Hello, son. I hope you're eating well. Don't work too hard. I'm proud of you. Call me whenever you have time." That was all. No complaints, no anger, only love. Week after week, month after month, year after year. Then one rainy Tuesday morning, everything changed. Michael was sitting in an important business meeting when his phone rang, an unknown number. At first, he ignored it, but something told him to answer. The voice on the other end said, "Is this Michael Turner?" "Yes. This is Sheriff Daniels from Maple County. I'm very sorry. Your father passed away peacefully last night." In that single moment, the entire room disappeared. The meeting no longer mattered. The business deal no longer mattered. Nothing mattered, except those 7 heartbreaking words. Your father passed away peacefully last night. 3 days later, Michael drove back to the town he hadn't visited in nearly 8 years. The roads looked exactly the same. The old church still stood at the end of the street. Children still rode bicycles through the neighborhood. The giant maple tree in front of his childhood home was still there. Everything looked familiar. Everything except one thing. His father wasn't waiting on the front porch anymore. The funeral was small. Only a handful of neighbors attended. After the service, an elderly woman slowly walked over to Michael. She introduced herself as Mrs. Carter. She had lived next door for over 30 years. She smiled sadly and said something Michael would never forget. "You know, your father talked about you every single day. He was proud of you." Michael couldn't answer, because for the first time in years, he realized the whole truth. That being busy had become an excuse. That evening, Michael entered the old house alone. Nothing had changed. His father's reading glasses still rested beside his favorite chair. A crossword puzzle lay unfinished on the coffee table. The smell of coffee still lingered in the kitchen. It felt as though his father had simply stepped outside for a few minutes. Then Michael walked into his old bedroom. On the desk sat a small wooden box. Attached to it was a note. "For Michael." He slowly opened it. Inside were dozens of unopened letters. One for every birthday he had missed, every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, every year they hadn't spent together. His father had written every single one, but never mailed them. Michael opened the first letter. It read, "Happy birthday, son. I hope your work is going well. I bought your favorite chocolate cake today. Maybe next year we'll celebrate together." Another letter said, "Merry Christmas. I decorated the tree. I still hung your favorite ornament in the same place. Maybe next year you'll be here to hang it yourself." Another one simply said, "I miss you, but I'm still proud of you." At that moment, Michael finally broke down. Years of buried emotions came rushing out all at once. At the bottom of the box was one final envelope. Across the front, his father had written only 4 words, "Open after I'm gone." With trembling hands, Michael unfolded the letter. It said, "My dear Michael, if you're reading this, then my journey has come to an end. Please don't spend your life feeling guilty. Instead, spend it loving the people who are still here. Success is wonderful. Money is useful. But neither of them will hold your hand when you're lonely. Family will. Remember, I never measured my life by the days you visited me. I measured it by how much I loved you. And I loved you every single day. Love, Dad." Michael read the letter again, and again, and again. The following morning, Mrs. Carter stopped by with breakfast. As they talked, she told Michael things he had never known. His father secretly bought school supplies for children who couldn't afford them. Every Wednesday, he volunteered at the public library. He repaired broken bicycles free of charge. Every Christmas, he dressed as Santa Claus for the local community center. He never wanted recognition. He simply wanted to make people smile. That was the kind of man William Turner had always been. Before leaving town, Michael walked to the giant maple tree. There, carved into the bark, were 2 old initials, M.W. He remembered carving them with his father when he was just 12 years old. He placed his hand on the tree and quietly whispered, "I'm sorry, Dad." A gentle wind moved through the leaves. For the first time in many years, Michael felt peace. When he returned to Chicago, he made a promise. He stopped working every weekend. He called his sister every Sunday. He visited old friends. He volunteered at a youth legal center. Most importantly, he began writing handwritten letters to the people he loved. Because he had learned something no amount of money could ever teach him. Love should never be postponed. Exactly 1 year later, Michael returned to Maple Street. This time, he wasn't alone. His sister came with her husband and children. Together, they planted a young maple tree beside the old one. As the children laughed beneath its branches, Michael smiled. His father's love hadn't disappeared. It had simply grown into the next generation. So, my friend, if you are listening to this story today, let me ask you one simple question. Is there someone you've been meaning to call? Someone you've been saying, "I'll talk to them later"? Maybe today is the day. Because life doesn't always give us another chance. Remember, the greatest gift you can give someone isn't money. It isn't expensive presents. It's your time. And sometimes, a simple phone call can become the memory that lasts forever. Thank you for listening. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to share it with someone you love, because you never know who needs to hear it today. Please like, comment, and subscribe this channel to see more heart-touching story. See you in the next video.